This is a map of Washington State with Seattle there, Spokane there, Canada, Idaho, right in the corner. We're going to focus on this little piece of corner right here in the Colville National Forest. Alright, this is the northeastern corner of Washington State. We're going to focus on this little town here, Ione, and the Box Canyon Dam, Medellin, Medellin Falls, Boundary Dam, and Sullivan Lake area. This being Canada and this being Idaho. Started out in Spokane at 7:30 in the morning, rode 87 miles up to the town of Medellin. Got there at 9:30 in the morning, and then I just started exploring the area. Went over here to Sullivan Lake, down along Sullivan Lake, which is a beautiful lake, and right down here to this gravel road that's called Dry Canyon. Normally when I go on a gravel road I tell someone, but I didn't tell anybody I was going to go down this road, so I proceeded.
I'm not a real fan of traveling to the forest by yourself because it's spooky. I feel there's something lurking behind every tree.
About 6 miles and kind of decided I didn't like it, the road, plus I didn't tell anybody, so I decided to turn around and go back. And about halfway back, two big black bears ran out in front of me, scared the heck out of me, and I scared them. I usually I have a gun with me, but I decided at that point I need some bear spray because I felt it was more effective on bears than a pistol would be.
Early the next morning I went to the Medellin Mini Mart and they had 1 can of bear spray. They just got it in, so I bought it, and it clips right on the outside of my jacket for easy access.
So then I come back out. So it was a 12-mile round trip. Got back on the pavement, rode back up along Sullivan Lake on the pavement. And I got off the pavement onto this road, the Salmo Mountain Road, and I did tell somebody where I was going, and I basically just wanted to see what the road was like because I was running out of time, and it turned out to be a really nice road.
And this just gave you a basic idea what the road was like for 11 miles, traveled 25, 30 miles an hour. And I just stopped here at this little creek here, check it out. Just needed a break, so then I took off.
Again, I was running out of time and I knew I wouldn't make it to the top, so I turned around about the 11.5-mile mark and headed back down the hill. And about right in this area, a big black bear ran across the road in front of me, and I scared him really bad and he scared me really bad, and we both took off like rockets. Then I headed back down to the pavement. Then I caught up with the pavement, and I rode the pavement around back down to the town of Medellin, and that was the end of the first day.
And I got back to the motel, Box Canyon Motel. They asked me to park my bike on the sidewalk next to my room because at nighttime a lot of cars come in there and it's crowded. It only has 9 rooms. And this next picture, I got up at 6 o'clock in the morning and took this picture.
Early on the second day, I started out of Medellin and drove up to Medellin Falls, crossed the river, and then headed up the east side of the Pondere River, up towards the Canadian border. About a mile from the Canadian border, there's a gravel road that goes 2 miles. I got on the gravel road and I went by Crescent Lake. Okay, this is Crescent Lake, probably about a mile from the Canadian border. Just a beautiful blue, clear lake. Over to the Boundary Dam lookout, and there was about 2 miles of gravel road.
And this video was shot from the observation facilities, octagon building, all glassed in, very nice. And a friend of mine sent me this video. He was up there earlier this year. This is the spring 2018 runoff, and the next picture is just a panoramic view of the dam itself.
I left the Boundary Dam lookout, I took those 2 miles of gravel road back, and headed back down the highway towards this intersection over to Sullivan Lake and got to the gravel road going up to Salmo Mountain. It was about 18 miles of pavement. So I got on the gravel road. It was 21 miles long. It was a very nice road.
And again, the road up to Salmo Mountain was just a really nice road, wide. I didn't see anybody, and it just went on for miles like this, and I was traveling 25, 30, 35.
Got up towards the top, switchbacks up there, and the last mile was a very rough road. But
here the road got narrower and way less trees, and the road was more powdery than rock.
I knew I only had to do a mile so I could do it. So I got to the top and it was a beautiful, beautiful views from up there. All right, I thought these things would be way taller than that, but they're not. Got some solar panels right there. Boards are on the windows. And a sign. And these are the Great Smokies. Lots of smoke up here from fires.
Holy mackerel, Batman. Look at all the smoke. There were lots of fires in Washington State and up in Canada, and I did not know what to expect when I got to the top. I didn't know if I'd be able to see anything, but here it is.
Okay, looking at our map, that's directly west, and that's called Gypsy Ridge. All right, Gypsy Ridge. That's looking directly west. And I headed back down another 21 miles. Yeah, stop and smell the roses. There, trees. Camper's paradise. And got back down and came to the intersection with the pavement. Okay, I got back on the pavement over here by Sullivan Lake, and I traveled over about 8 miles to Medellin, and then down another 9 miles to the town of Ione. And I got on this gravel road here called Smackout Pass. It's about 13 miles long, and I made it to the top there, Smackout Pass. Okay, we reached the top of Smackout Pass. Now we're going to go down the other side.
And right up here, I'll look to the right, and you can see the transmission lines go completely across the top of the forest. Pretty cool.
Then I continued on and saw some scenery and meadows. Then I continued on over to the pavement over here on Aladdin Road. And I proceeded down Aladdin Road. Down to this gravel road right here called Meadows Road, and I proceeded up Meadows Road. And I went up there, and at about the halfway mark is Big Meadows Lake. Meadows Lake, 7 miles east of Ione. And then I I continued on. It was 12.5 miles this whole road, and it connected back up with Smackout Pass. And then I went back into the town of Ione and drove 9 miles back up to Medellin, and that was the end of the second day.
Interesting note about the Box Canyon Motel. It only had 9 rooms, and the people staying there were workers from the mine or the dam on temporary assignment. They went to bed early and they got up early, and the place was really quiet.
And I got up early on the third day and took off out of Medellin and went on this road here called the Boundary Dam Road on the west side of the Pend Oreille River. It's all pavement, and I went up about 16 miles or so, and then turned around and came down, and I was just going by the Lead King Lakes right here.
Look out, there's a bear.
When just past him, and a bear, big black bear, ran down on the road in front of me, and he was scared and I was scared, and we both took off like a rocket. And I continued back down to the town of Medellin.
Here I am approaching the Medellin Mini Mart, where they will tell you they open up at 5 a.m. sharp, and they do. I was there 3 mornings, starting out the day, sitting down with my cup of coffee.
And I left Medellin, rode the pavement for 13 miles down to the junction of Tiger Pass. Then I rode 11 miles on the pavement to the top of Tiger Pass. I passed these 7 lakes here, which is quite a water recreation area for folks. And I started my gravel road on South Mill Creek Road. So I got on the South Fork of Mill Creek Road. It was 12.5 miles, and the road was pretty nice. Okay, this is South Fork of Mill Creek. Got off of the South Fork of the Mill Creek Road, hit the pavement, rode down to Colville, about 8 miles, and went back up Tiger Pass. It was about 15 miles. Went up here to the gravel road and the start of the Tacoma Creek Road.
Now, this was an interesting stop. It was 91 degrees out, and I have a cooling vest I keep in my soft bags. So I walked down to the creek and dipped in the creek, and I brought it back up, wrung all the water out of it, and put it back on, and I put my jacket on top of that, and it felt like about 80 degrees for the rest of the day. It was really nice.
So I got off the pavement on Tacoma Creek and headed down the gravel.
This particular scenario went through it 4 times on this trip. I'm not sure which way to go, which road to take. So I look at my phone and my GPS and try to figure it out, and inevitably I went the wrong way, had to circle back, and then take off the right road. Now on my iPhone you can have it on airplane mode, even if you don't have any service, and it will still track you via GPS on your iPhone. And I have Venza maps on there, forest maps, so I was able to follow my route from the GPS tracking. It saved my bacon 4 times. You know, I get lost so easy. I'll look in the refrigerator. My wife will tell me something's right there in front of me and I can't see it. But yep, it's there.
And it was about 8 miles of really rough road. I didn't like it. It was spooky.
Now this was interesting. You can see the stick figures, or metal figures, up there on the hill by the transmission tower. Mom and Dad, 2 kids on the right, 2 kids on the left, in the middle of nowhere. I was wondering about the guy that took him up there, if he didn't get zapped by the transmission lines, because they're all metal.
Then it started opening up, and that's where I ran into a cougar. I didn't run into him, but he ran across the road right in front of me. It was a great big one, scared the heck out of me. I took off like a rocket. And then I finished this 12 miles. It's just a beautiful gravel road. I was doing 35, 45, 50, and just having a gas of a time until I came down here and hit the pavement again. And I got back on the pavement down here and rode 37 miles through Ione and back up to the town of Medellin. And so ended the third day.
It was good to get back to the motel, get in a clean bed, and get a good night's sleep.
On the fourth and final day, I left Medellin and went 5 miles north on a short side trip right up here to this place right here called Washington Rock. I don't know what this grand view is, but I'm going to tell you it was a grand view. Mike, down at the Medellin Mini Mart, told me about this road that goes out on top of the rock, and it's kind of a rough road. It's a half a mile long. And so I took it, and it was kind of rough, but I made it. But they had some spectacular views out there.
Here's a couple pictures of the rough road. I made a couple wrong turns on the way up there, but I finally got my bearings, and I made it to the top of Washington Rock.
Okay, I made it to the top. That's the town of Medellin Falls right there. And across the river, over there, is the town of Medellin. Right down below me is the bridge. I really don't want to stand up down here. Kind of yucky. That's the bridge. And that's the creek going up the bridge. And that's just some scenery. Okay, pretty smoky out up here. And kind of getting height dizzy because I'm so frigging high up here. I'll go down to Medellin Falls and get a shot of how high I was up here. Okay, there's Washington Rock. And I think I was right at the top, right there. This is kind of a recap of the 4 days. Dry Canyon, Salmo Mountain twice, Smackout Pass, Big Meadows Lake Road, South Fork of Mill Creek, and the Tacoma Creek Road, and Washington Rock right there.